I think we discovered that not only does Y Combinator help you with sales and finance and finding investors and stuff like that, but also they give you peers who are really great, and they raise your ambition level. And I think that's been one of the awesome things that we saw people go much faster than us at Y Combinator, and that led to our iteration value. It's because the second group meeting was the most influential. It was, I think we were the first or the second one, I think the second one to talk about like, what did you do and what did you achieve in the last 2 weeks? And after us was Liz Wessel from, at the time called Campus Job, now called Way Up. And she was amazing. She knew exactly what the company did, which is what you start with, which is harder than it sounds. She knew all her numbers, and they achieved so much in those 2 weeks. And our mentor said, yes, this is an example of how you should do this. And then he kind of looked sideways, and we knew we were the example of how not to do things. And so we drove back and we said, okay, we got to start moving a lot faster than we've ever done. So we basically took our plan for the next 3 months and looked at like, what can we do in the next 2 weeks to realize as much as possible of this? And it turned out you can do like 80% of it in a much shorter time frame. So that's where we discovered the iteration. Don't work harder or longer hours, but just give yourself a really tight deadline and just see what can you do in that time that already achieves a lot of the same effect.
Like, if GitLab hadn't gone through YC, do you think we'd be in the same spot, or not really?
No way. So it's the knowledge you gain, it's the ambition level to actually aim much higher, it's the velocity to actually go much faster, and it's the kind of the access you get, the access to talent and capital, both by just being a YC company, which helps, but also just through introductions.
You talked about the speed of iterating and just sort of the importance of that. And what you've told me today is you looked at other folks in YC and said, hey, we've got to go faster. Is that really where that sort of every month we're going to release new stuff? Did it really come straight out of that?
It was already happening at that time. So Dimitri started this, and we had a few close calls during YC where we're just launched on the 22nd, depending on what time zone you lived in. So that was exciting. But yeah, there were people in the company even at the time who discussed, oh, we should slow it down. We should take 2 months. We'll get so much more done. And the response at GitLab has always been, no, we'll get the most we can get done. Is just the smaller we split things up, the smaller steps we take, the faster we can go. And I still believe that's true today. Get everyone comfortable with taking small steps without a lot of coordination, without a lot of predicting that you need to do, without a lot of explaining is the better step.